Hi there, my name is Lara Waldman and I'm a healer and a freedom coach. And I help people who are stuck, anxious and overwhelmed regain a sense of purpose in their life. And I'd like to share my personal story with you today to show you why I am so passionate about helping people. So I grew up in a really beautiful area. There was the forest, the mountains, the trees. We had an amazing upbringing. We went sailing, we went skiing. Everything was seemingly perfect on the outside. When I was 12 years old, my godmother and my mother's best friend committed suicide, leaving behind her 3 children. This event changed everything. It was as if everything that had been lurking in the shadows, that had been pushed away, ignored or denied, came up and smacked us all in the face. My mother really struggled. She went into a deep depression. And 2 years later, when I was 14 years old, my sisters and I came home one day to discover that my mum had left and she'd taken half of the things in the house with her. In this moment, it felt as if the floor from under my feet had been taken out from under me. And also, I found out that my mum had come out as a lesbian. So not only were my parents separating, my whole world flipping upside down, but everything that I knew about love and relationships was changing dramatically. My response to this was to get very armored. I became angry. I became very strong. No one was going to hurt me or touch me. I brought up all these defenses and barriers. I became incredibly self-destructive. I took drugs, alcohol. I was very promiscuous. I overate. I was finding anything possible to shut down my feelings. After a couple of years of this, I shut down. I had very little energy. So I went to the doctor's one day and she looked at me and said, "You're depressed." And I was a bit surprised by this. She put me on the scales and I had gained a lot of weight. I'd always been a very slim child and I'd never even really thought about weight. And suddenly I realized how much weight I'd gained. Very soon I developed eating disorders. I shut down from the world. I went inward and I did everything in my power to become as small and invisible as possible. Needless to say, I was feeling awful most of the time. I felt terrible about myself. I felt terrible physically, emotionally, mentally. And one day I was working in this shop and this woman came into the shop and she was an older woman. But she looked amazing. She was bright and shiny. Her body was beautiful. And I said to her, "You look amazing." And she told me that she'd been following this special diet. And this is why she felt and looked in the way she did. And something compelled me to explore more. And I realized that I had been suffering with something called candida. And I'd actually been suffering with it for many years. So I'm very sensitive to things like sugar, alcohol, wheat, yeast, things like this. This was the first moment in my life where I started to learn about the connection between what we put into our body and how we feel physically and emotionally. So I then went from trying to starve myself towards trying to eat a healthier diet. So I cut out all the sugar and alcohol, but still really struggled to maintain this anti-candida diet. But it was a huge eye-opening moment for me. And a bit of time later, I also started to read books on spirituality, on healing, on all of this stuff that really it started to expand my mind, and it was awakening a memory inside of me. It was awakening something that I knew deep down within. I went to first year university and I was still struggling with eating disorders and depression. And I went there and I looked around and there was absolutely nothing for me there. I couldn't get into it at all. And I realized that this was not the path for me, although I had no idea what my path was. After first year university, this little thing started to awaken in my heart, this secret desire that I buried down deep. And this was the desire to be a performer, to be an actress. And So I decided to start taking a few acting classes to just see what happened. And very quickly, I realized that this is what I wanted to do next. Now, in retrospect, I realized that learning to be an actress was also about healing myself. It was the first time that I started to channel all of this pain within me, to release and express these emotions that had been stuck in me for so many years. My desire to be a successful and good actress took me to London, England, where I studied theatre. And after a year of being there, I met my now husband. This man was calm and peaceful, and he meditated every day. And something inside of me knew that I needed to try meditation, although I had huge resistance to it. So I made a commitment to sit and meditate every day, and although at first I hated it, very soon I started to experience feelings of peace and calm. And after a few months, I had this incredibly profound experience where I had this message that came to me in these flashing lights in my mind's eye, which said, "You are a healer." And I remember collapsing on my bed in floods of tears because I knew I wasn't going to be an actress, and I knew that my whole life was about to change. I had no idea what a healer was, but I knew it had something to do with helping people, something to do with my hands. So I said, "Okay, universe, I'm not looking for this. You bring this to me." I was really pissed off. But very soon I was led to this course. And on the first day of this healing course, I knew that this was my future. Learning to become a healer was first and foremost about healing myself. I started to learn about the connection between our emotions, our thoughts, and our physical health. I started to release and clear the pain of my past, to reframe my thoughts and belief systems, and started to feel better. So, my healing journey, the shifts and changes I saw in myself, really compelled me to help others. And after being a healer for many, many years and seeing so many people experience incredible shifts and changes, I know that it is possible to heal our past, to move through the pain that we have been through. What I have learned is that in our greatest challenge, in our greatest pain, lies gold, lies hidden, buried treasure. So I know that whatever has happened to you, whatever has gone on in your life, there is something beautiful lying beneath it, just waiting for you to discover it. And I'm here to help you and support you uncover this hidden treasure. So, I'd like to invite you to a free gift. The information is below this video. And if you'd like to stay in regular touch with me, regular contact, I send out a weekly blog, a weekly video with free tips and tools. So please sign up for that. And I really look forward to speaking to you again and working with you again in the future.